Hey guys, before we start off with this video, let's redeem a new code and let's go to your settings, redeem code, and the code is going to be 416 holiday. Let's see what we get. Okay, redeem successfully, and as we go to our inbox, so we do have the code here, redeem code. We do have 50 collapsed piece here, a very good, nice gift. Plus, we do have a bonus. This is from Dark Winter, a special gift. By the way, guys, the code is redeemable for both Dark Winter and for Howplay, so you may redeem it now. Mechty always approaches everything with peak laziness, except for gaming and reading manga. She's mastered the ultimate skill, falling asleep anytime and anywhere under any circumstance. Although she seems to embody the philosophy of lying flat to the extreme, she reveals her dependable side in times of crisis. We will start off with her skills, and the first one is Vizier Snap level 1, passive and a buff. At the start of the battle, Mechty enters patch mode and applies Nightmare Form to all allied units. At a closer look, patch mode is damage taken reduced by 30%, and also stability damage taken is reduced by 2 points. This is a perfect buff for her to increase her survivability. So when she switches to Nightmare Form, AoE damage dealt is increased by 10%, and AoE damage dealt by support attacks is increased by 50%. These two are going to be helping Prithia in terms of both her active AoE damage dealt and for her support attacks, which is going to be AoE. Plus, the 10% AoE damage dealt also helps Klukai and also helps Mechty herself. Additionally, support attacks damage type is changed to corrosion damage, which will also benefit from the debuffs that Mechty has on the enemies. This is considered a corrosion buff and cannot be cleansed. For her second skill, it is Dream Wonderland level 1 ultimate, and this is a buff. Deactivates patch mode and enters turbo mode for 3 turns. After turbo mode ends, returns to patch mode, applies Nightmare Shroud to all allied units, and inflicts Toxic Inundation to the closest enemy target for 1 turn. Nightmare Shroud is going to be before Mechty is attacked, reduces the attacker's attack by 5%, and cleanses 1 random debuff on self. If any weakness is being exploited by the enemy, damage taken is reduced by 30%, activates once, and considered a corrosion buff. Next is going to be your Toxic Inundation. Corrosion damage taken is increased by 25%, considered a corrosion debuff. Her third skill, Dreamless Night level 1, it's an active buff and also provides stability recovery. So recovers 6 points of stability, cleanses all debuffs on self, which is Mechty, and applies Dream Guardian to all allied units within 8 tiles for 2 turns. Generates Toxic Mist tiles within 2 tiles around the closest enemy target for 2 turns. When Turbo Mode is active, the active skill Dreamquake or the basic attack Bedtime Warm-Up can be used after using this skill. Gains 1 stack of Sleeping Aid Kit for 2 turns. Dream Guardian is going to be AoE damage dealt by support attacks is increased by another 30%, considered a buff cannot be cleansed. And the second one, Toxic Mist, is inflicts corrosion weakness to enemy units within the area, dealing fixed damage equal to 50% of the inflictor's attack, and inflicts stability loss 1 to enemy units that remain within the area at the end of the action. For her fourth skill, it's Dreamquake level 1, active AoE and tile. Stability damage is going to be 3. Selects 1 enemy target within 8 tiles, dealing AoE corrosion damage equal to 130% of attack to all enemies within 1 tile of the target. Before the attack, inflicts acid corrosion 2 to large targets for 2 turns. Gains movement up 2 for 1 turn when turbo mode is active, and generates Toxic Mist for 2 turns. First is going to be her Acid Corrosion, reduces defense by 30%, considered a corrosion defense debuff. We then have Movement up 2. It increases mobility by 2 tiles and considered a buff. Then we have Toxic Mist, which inflicts corrosion weakness to enemy units within the area deals fixed damage equal to 50% of the inflictor's attack, and inflicts stability loss 1 to enemy units that remain within the area until the end of their action, lasting 2 turns. So for our final skill, this is going to be Bedtime Warm-Up level 1, basic attack and targeted. This has stability damage of 3, selects one enemy target within 8 tiles, and deals physical damage equal to 80% of attack to them. When in turbo mode, damage type is changed to corrosion damage, stability damage dealt is increased by 2 points, and Mechty gains 1 point of Convictance Index. For her weapon options, we'll start off with the free-to-play option. It's going to be G11 and it's an SR rarity. So Bizarre Dream Realm, level 1, damage is increased by 5% when stacking targets with corrosion debuffs, maximum of 2 stacks. This gun is highly available and you could really calibrate this to the max. For her second best choice, we'll go with Skyla. So Skyla is the signature weapon of Klukai. Crocodile Tears level 1, AoE damage dealt is increased by 15%. Each time corrosion damage is dealt, damage is increased by 2% up to a maximum of 10%. But don't worry, you are not necessarily needed to bring Skyla. Any SSR AR will do. For her best option is going to be her signature weapon, Daydream. So Manifold Dreamscape level 1, after performing a basic attack, corrosion damage is increased by 50% and all corrosion damage dealt by allied units is increased by 10%, which is a nice buff considering that is provided by your gun. For her attachments and stat priorities, I would advise you to go with a corrosion boost set or a phase strike set. For now, I'm currently using a phase strike set because it is what is available in my inventory. But for the stats, you would need to have an attack percentage, attack flat stat, crit rate, and crit damage. For her fortifications, V0 is going to be a very good stopping point for her, and she does a lot of buffs and debuffs, and you have great value at V0. But if you want to move her further, the ideal stop would be at V4. So V4 is going to be stability damage is increased by 2 points. When turbo mode is active, increase the damage of the next basic attack by 100%. Deals fixed damage equal to 50% of attack to all enemy units within range, and the other stopping point would be at V6. So patch mode gains new effects. Corrosion damage dealt by all allied units is increased to 25%, and Mechty's basic attack critical damage is increased by 80%. Nightmare form gains new effect. AoE damage dealt by support attacks is increased further to 80%. Stability damage dealt is increased by 1 point, and AoE damage dealt is increased to 20%. But at this point, I would recommend that you stick with V0 because it has great value already. So for her Neural Helix, we'll go straight to key regulation. This build, by the way, is geared towards Gunsmoke content, and her fixed keys will play a big part. So, starting off with the first fixed key, which is going to be Loser Spirit. When using a basic attack, Bedtime Warm-Up cleanses 2 buffs from the target before the attack resolves, which is needed in the usual Gunsmoke boss that we have, which is Digraph. Next is going to be Quickly So We Can Sleep. When using the active skill Dreamless Night, generates toxic mist tiles within 2 tiles around the closest enemy for 2 turns. And finally, Horror Movie Night. This is when using the active skill Dreamquake, applies Acid Corrosion 2 for 2 turns before the attack resolves against large targets. So, for her common key, this is going to be Gaming Time, so this gives her an attack boost and a basic attack damage increase of 20%. So this is Mechty's own common key, and the 2 other common keys are going to give her a buff for crit rate, attack boost, and the next one is attack boost and health boost. So for team options, the team that would benefit most from Mechty is going to be a Corrosion team. Starting off with Prithia, which takes her action support into a different level in terms of damage, plus it gives her action support corrosion damage when Mechty is with that team. The second recipient obviously is going to be Klukai, which gives Klukai's damage dealing in terms of AoE much higher in terms of buffs, And plus, Mechty does give out a lot of debuffs towards enemies, which also makes Lukai deal more damage as well. So from here on out, we still lack a fourth member for our Corrosion team, but Mechty will really be a future investment for you, especially if down the line we will know who will the fourth member be that can benefit from Mechty's skills and from Mechty's buffs and debuff. Thank you guys for staying this far. Take care, stay safe. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.